Okay, hi everybody, it is me, Bonkai. Um, Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 2. This, this one was... holy shit. This might have been better than the last episode. Now... there was some interesting, the big shocker was at the end, like the last 10 minutes, which, I guess I could have seen coming. You see, here's my thoughts on really where this is going. This war with the throne is so minute. It is like, so minute to the grand scheme, the grand picture, because I think when he was in the preview for Game of Thrones Season 7, where you see Davos and he says, it's not going to matter whose skeleton is on the Iron Throne, which I think speaks volumes about what Season 7 is truly about. And this isn't about between queen against queen. No, this is about the dead versus the living. That's really what it's about. But let's get into it. This was episode 2 called Stormborne. Now this is basically focused on Daenerys. It's kind of funny because first 2 episodes were strictly focused, the title, on, Daenerys. So, probably know when you're watching this, but I'll talk about it anyway. Let's talk about... let's leave off for Daenerys for the time being. I'm gonna switch gears and start talking about the other aspects of this episode. Let's talk about Sam. Sam, oh my God, Samwell. He is now becoming my most respected characters in Game of Thrones. 2 weeks in a row, he did something that, to be honest, was disgusting. The first one, I got a viewer. The first one was basically from last week, as we saw, he was cleaning up people's vomit and shit. I was like, ugh. This week, basically, we find out that Jorah, from last week, we found out that Jorah is in the same area, same location as Samwell, and he has an advanced condition of grayscale, as we all know, at very advanced condition of grayscale, and he's with the Archmaester, Samwell, and the Archmaester is basically, it's the same guy who played Harry Potter, is basically stating to Samwell that it's just too advanced of a condition of grayscale, that it just can't be cured. Just can't. I mean, if he was a baby, then it could be cured. A child, it could be cured. But in this stage, at this juncture, it just can't be cured. So Samwell, he kind of tried to protest continuously to the Grand Maester, Grand Archmaester, about curing him. And, he tells Sam basically that there is someone, because he read it up, Sam, that it was someone who cured grayscale on an advanced stage of it. And, but then he tells him, oh, what happened to him? The guy who did it. He says, he died from grayscale. So basically, that's basically what transpired there. Then Samwell, he decides to try to do it himself. Holy shit. This had to be the most... It was really hard for me to watch this scene. Oh my God. He's cutting out he's telling Jorah to bite on this thing so he doesn't scream, because if he screams, then the jig is up. He's going to be found out, and he won't be able to cure him. And basically, the procedure, from what I understand from that scene, was he cuts off the part, the skin that has the grayscale off, and oh my god, underneath, I was like, oh my god, it was just pus. Oh, it was so nasty. So nasty. But Samwell kept doing it. The scene actually cuts off. It's like one of those things where they don't continue showing it. They move it on to a different scene. But just the fact that Sam, this second week in a row, he's doing something that is very disgusting. I mean, it's not like last week, but it was just completely and utterly disgusting. He gets so much bro points this season already, Sam. So many bro points. So I think from what we saw in that scene, I'm not going to say 100% that Jorah's out of the woods. Like, he's good. Like, he's good to go, Jorah. That he cured him and everything's gravy. I still think that might, because we didn't see the whole scene, we don't know. It's a what if. So that's basically what happened with Jorah. No one's watching this, but I'm going to continue on with this live stream. That's basically what happened with Jorah. I thought that was an interesting thing for Sam to do. And not only did Sam do that, the whole thing with Jon, he sent Jon a raven. And explained to him what's going on. Now, I'm going to leave Daenerys and what happened towards the end of the stream, to talk about. Let's get into Jon. So, pretty much, Jon gets 2 ravens sent him. It's 2 ravens. He gets a raven from Sam, who basically tells him about... Oh, wait, I forgot to mention one thing before we get into Sam. Jorah does write up a letter to Daenerys, but obviously it doesn't matter because, that scene happened. But he actually wrote up a letter he was going to send Khaleesi to Daenerys. But then with Jon, we had getting a letter from Sam basically telling him about Dragonglass, of where it's located, Dragonstone. And he gets another letter from Daenerys herself to go see her at Dragonstone. Now, this causes a tear. No one wants Jon to go there because there's apparently... It has to do everything with the Mad King and everything, really. It's just all bad around with the Mad King, and they don't want him to go and everything. But the thing with me about it is this: he has no choice, Jon Snow. He has absolutely no choice in this regard. He has to do it this way. If he doesn't go there, he can't get Dragonglass, and they can't fight the White Walkers, because the only other way they could do it would be they would have to create bombs. And even that wouldn't work. Or Valyrian steel, which I don't see any of that. But it's a very hard position that Jon is in. So he ends up going. We do see an altercation between Jon and Littlefinger. He says, Don't you fucking touch my sister. I thought that was a goat scene. They have a confrontation in the bowels of Winterfell. So basically, Jon Snow is elected to go, and he's going with Davos to meet with her, with Daenerys. Now, this is like his hands are tied. Like, there's something he can do. He has to go down there. So that's basically what really, more or less, happened with Jon Snow in this episode. So next week we're going to get this altercation with Daenerys. That's going to be good. That's going to be good. That's going to be awesome. The other stuff that happened in this episode was Arya? Yeah. Arya goes to this tavern She's continuing, I want to kill Cersei, I want to kill the queen, that whole bit. And she's going there to kill her. She goes to this tavern, and she meets Pie. Everybody remembers Pie. The guy who she was traveling with before she bumped into the Hound. And he gives her pie and, ale and everything. And he basically tells her that about, where she's going. She says she's going to King's Landing to kill the queen, kill Cersei. And he tells her about Winterfell and that the Boltons are dead and that her brother is now king of the North. So he tells her the whole thing, and then she totally stops, is shocked beyond belief. And she ends up, after that, she's on the horse, she leaves, and she decides to go back north. See, this thing with Arya, at this point in the show, she killed the Freys. They were the ones responsible. Cersei and they were okay, yeah, but you killed the people who really killed your family, and you just need to move on from that. And so that's what she did. And then she bumps into her direwolf. And this scene was so unbelievably sad. Because she's saying for her to come with her to Winterfell, and the wolf just leaves. That was terrible. Terrible scene with that. We had that with Arya. Let's see, Arya. And that scene I thought was done very well. I really enjoyed that scene. It was pretty damn sad. So we had Arya, we had Samwell, Jorah. Then Cersei in King's Landing. All that happens really in there is they try to get some people on their side, and believe it or not, Samwell's father is one of them. And here's who getting tried to go with Cersei instead of Tyrell, because he's a Tarly, Sam's family. My feelings about Cersei and Jaime, I don't like. Personally, listen. Yes, her children get killed, all that stuff. They were killed and so on and so forth, and it was a really horrible thing. But I feel for her, but she's not making a good case for herself. I'm just saying. She's not making a good case for herself, because at the end of the day, the way last week's episode ended with Jaime and her screams, this is over between the two of them. Because it just doesn't seem like Jaime, and he's, trying to convince him and everything. He's like, I know you don't like my sister, and so on and so forth. But it's just like, it's one of these things with Jaime and Cersei that at this point in the story, is there really anything that can be said, anything that can be given to us, the audience, to actually sympathize with Jaime and Cersei? I really don't sympathize with them.
I'm going to bed.
Okay, good night.
Your brother's on his way home.
Okay. I really, really, really don't sympathize with them. It's just, it's hard. It's really hard. They don't make a good case for themselves. So, basically, that's basically what happened. They're trying to get allies. The only thing they have right now is Euron, which I guess we should talk about that. So, the ending of this episode I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about Dany's other things that Dany did. Daenerys. Basically, Euron confronts Theon and Yara, and there's a battle at the end of the episode. It's so bad. it just turns to shit. Everything turns to shit, and like everyone's killed by Euron's fleet, and they get destroyed pretty much. And I can't believe the show did this. I'm like, yeah, say what you will. Theon was tortured. Ramsay cut off his dick. But it's just like, he just jumps out off the, what? Just leaves. I was like, really, Theon? Really? I think what it was, another thing what it was, is that scene, it totally took him out. Like, it just totally took him out. It totally reminded him of Ramsay. Because I guess Euron reminded him of Ramsay, I guess. But it's just like, dude, you seriously gonna do that? You're gonna just jump out? And pretty much like most of Dorne is gone. I mean, see, here's the thing. Losing Dorne and losing the ships is devastating, but not really. It's still the dragons. And even though, you see Cersei, I forgot that one thing about Cersei, her Maester showed her the bow that could pierce the... Yeah, okay, yeah. How many are you going to make of that? Really? They showed that scene. But, see, the thing about Cersei is, okay, you have the fleet, but you don't know what they're planning. They're planning to take out Castle Rock. That's what he was planning, Tyrion. So, but basically they get destroyed, and it's just a total clusterfuck. And Theon, the show just likes beating the living shit out of Theon. That's what I think it is. They just can't give him a break. They just continuously make him out into a fucking punching bag. But that happened there. That was a huge clusterfuck. This is episode 2. You think about that? This is episode 2. And we already got, what? Pretty much confirmed 3 to 4, 5 deaths. Pretty much Dorne is dealt with. Yara's probably dead. Theon's swimming in the ocean. God damn. But the Daenerys stuff, really nothing happened. It was just they met up with Melisandre, and she basically tells them about Jon and what he's trying to do and what is going to come. Basically saying that you should invite... They're basically telling that, Jon Snow about what's coming, the night. The endless night and everything in between. And Tyrion basically vouches for Jon and everything. So that's what basically happened with Daenerys. We also got a scene with Grey Worm. Grey Worm catching some booty. Yeah, they were having sex. That was crazy. Overall, this episode was a little bit better than last week's, I think. The ending really sold it. I thought it was done very well. Last week, I probably would say a 7 out of 10. This was probably an 8.5 out of 10, to an extent. Now, for next week, there's going to be a battle, I believe, between... I think they're attacking King's Landing? Daenerys' army? I'm not 100% sure, though. And the other thing that's happening is Daenerys is going to meet Jon. They're going to meet. And the thing about it is, no one knows about Jon's lineage. They don't know what he is. I mean, most people know that he is half Lord Stark, or half Stark, and the other half, from their observations, is some woman. They don't know that he's part Targaryen. They don't know. They have no idea that he's part Targaryen. So that's something else that is being alluded here. But it should be interesting next week to see how this goes on, this conversation. I mean, the way things are shaping up, and this is, I read this with 100% certainty. 100% certainty. There is no way Cersei is winning. I mean that 100%. There is no way she is winning this war. And here's why. Number one, she is totally oblivious to what is going on. Totally oblivious. Because here's the thing. Let's say she defeats Daenerys by some miracle. Okay. How are you going to defeat the army of the undead that are approaching? Because that's what's going to happen. Once they're done with Winterfell, they're going to come down to King's Landing. And then that's the end. She'll be a zombie Cersei. You'll see the Night King sitting on the throne. That would be interesting. I don't know if I would wanted that, but can you imagine if that did happen? The Night King sitting on the Iron Throne. that would be. I pay money for that. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened in this episode. Overall, I say like 8.5 out of 10. The Samwell scene was kind of crazy. I was actually a little sad with the Arya thing. I thought that was... It really, like, put me in a different mood altogether of what they were trying to do with her in that scene. Because it seemed like she went on this quest, she came back, and she goes back to Winterfell instead of going to King's Landing. She meets her direwolf. It's almost as if the direwolf didn't recognize her. And I think the reason for that is because of the whole thing with Black and White House. Because of the power she achieved. So she basically is an Arya, but she is no one. Now she really is no one, because no one can recognize her. So it's really, I thought it was a really sad scene to see that. That was, shit, that was really fucking sad. But yeah, it's pretty much what went down in this episode. So next week should be interesting. Jon's gonna see Daenerys. I mean, Jon, the relationship he's gonna have with her is probably going to be one of... I mean, because he really doesn't want the Iron Throne, Jon. All he wants to do is protect Winterfell and the rest... humanity. That's basically his calling. His calling is to protect humanity. To protect them from the Night. From the Night King. It's as simple as that. And if he has to have some kind of alliance with Daenerys, and by all means. Would be funny if... I don't think she would do that. Sacrifice one of the dragons to Jon. Let Jon use one of the dragons. Because I don't think he wants to do that, Jon. He probably just... He just wants the dragon glass. You know, that's all he wants, is the dragon glass. So he can take it, give it to everybody in the north, and they fight the Night King and the White Walkers. Oh, man. This is going to be so fucked. I'm Paul Kanai22. I'll see you guys later. So, I decided that... I'll just want to end this one real tidbit. Decided that, probably sometime in September, I'm probably going to get a new computer. Yeah. That's going to happen. So look forward to that. Until then, I'm Kanai22. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.